All right, let's dive in. Today we're all about float tube fly fishing.
Oh, yeah.
Specifically for stillwater.
Sounds fun.
Our source is this online fly fishing store, and they are all about stillwater techniques.
I was checking out their site. Pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, by the end of this, you'll be ready to hit the lake.
Hopefully.
So this store, it's not your average shop.
No, not at all.
They've really honed in on this niche of stillwater fishing.
It is a very specific kind of fishing.
And for anglers who want to get good at it, that kind of focus can be really valuable.
So sure, for sure.
It's almost like they're sharing a whole philosophy of float tube fishing, not just selling gear.
I can see that.
But speaking of gear,
Yeah.
their fly selection is amazing, like a candy store for trout.
Lots of choices.
I was looking at the Stillwater Leech Variety Pack.
Oh, nice.
A dozen different leech patterns, you're covered no matter what.
That's smart. With stillwater, you're often trying to mimic those slower bottom-dwelling creatures.
Right.
Leeches are a natural food for trout in lakes, and having that variety lets you figure out what they're biting that day.
Makes sense. And then there's the classic DT bugger.
Ah, yeah, a good one.
Why is it so effective, especially in stillwater?
Well, it's like the Swiss Army knife of flies. It can be anything you want it to be.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it can imitate leeches, damsel nymphs, even small bait fish, and that chenille body.
Yeah.
It moves so realistically in the water.
Trout love it.
They can't resist, especially with a slow retrieve, which is often what you do in still water.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Now, one thing that caught my eye was their emphasis on balanced flies.
Balanced flies, interesting.
They've got names like Bee Black and Redhead, and even a Bee the Poser with UV. Everything. I mean, come on with those names.
Gotta love those fly names. But the concept is pretty cool.
Yeah, so what's the deal with balanced flies?
Well, by adding weight in just the right spots, these flies sink horizontally
Oh, wow.
instead of head first like most flies.
I see.
And that's more natural, like a lot of aquatic insects.
So it fools the fish.
Exactly. They're way more likely to take the bait, especially in deeper water.
So it's not just about the flash, it's about how it moves in the water.
Exactly. Presentation is everything.
And speaking of presentation, they also have a whole section on mini jigs.
Mini jigs, huh?
Now, I always thought those were for bass fishing.
Yeah, they are popular for bass, but they're becoming a big thing in fly fishing too,
Oh, really?
especially for still water. Great for imitating those small bait fish or bugs and the weighted heads.
Yeah.
Get them down deep where the fish are.
So that makes sense in the context of float tube fishing.
Right.
You're not limited to casting from the shore anymore.
You got it.
You're out in the middle of the lake. It's like a whole new world of fishing.
For sure.
And the store gets it. They're giving you the tools for all kinds of approaches. Like I see they have strike indicators listed too.
Ah, strike indicators.
Now, for someone who's never used them, what are those even for?
So basically, they're like tiny bobbers for your fly line. They sit on the surface and help you see those subtle bites, especially when you're fishing nymphs or emergers below the surface.
Okay.
They're super helpful in still water because you don't have the current to tell you if you've got a fish on.
So they're like your underwater eyes.
Pretty much. A clever little tool.
Yeah, I'm seeing a pattern here.
Oh, yeah.
This store is going all in on stillwater fly fishing.
Absolutely. And it's more than just the gear.
What do you mean?
They highlight services like stillwater fishing, trolling for trout, and float tube fishing. They're experts in this niche, not just some random shop.
Right.
Yeah.
And they mentioned midge-tip sinking tip strategies,
Yeah.
which sounds pretty hardcore.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like there's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah, definitely those strategies involve specialized fly lines that sink at different rates.
Oh, I see.
So you can control exactly how deep your flies are.
That's key.
Yeah, super important in still water because trout often hang out at specific depths.
Wow, so you got to figure out the right combo of fly and line and retrieve.
It's like a puzzle.
A delicious puzzle.
That's a good way to put it.
But hold on, we're just scratching the surface here.
There's so much more to explore.
This store has a lot to offer.
It does. And they've got
Yeah.
this YouTube channel, Float Tubing on the Fly.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, a lot of stores have those,
Sure.
but this one seems, I don't know, more in depth.
Yeah, I was just looking at it. It's not just like quick tips or product stuff.
Right?
They've got videos like minnow bait fish fly pattern, probably a fly tying tutorial.
Most likely.
But then float tubing on the fly at Strawberry Reservoir and over 9th 24 sounds like a whole fishing trip.
Yeah, and I think that's smart.
Oh,
Having that variety,
yeah,
you know. Some people learn best by watching, others by doing.
right.
And showing actual trips, it gives you a feel for what it's really like out there.
Okay, I'm convinced I gotta check out this channel.
Definitely.
But before we go down that rabbit hole,
Yeah.
let's talk about the float tubing itself.
Okay.
Why would someone choose this over just fishing from shore?
That's the big question, right? It's not just about having a comfy seat on the water.
Right.
Float tubes give you access, period.
Access to what?
Those hidden spots, the coves, the drop-offs, places you can't reach from shore.
Oh, I see. So you can get to where the fish are.
Exactly.
And I'm guessing it's stealthier too.
Oh, for sure. You're lower to the water, less likely to spook the fish.
Especially in clear water.
Yeah. You become part of the lake, just drifting along.
But that's a cool way to put it. Oh, there's a but.
There's always a but.
Okay. I'm listening.
It's not as simple as it looks. You need some skills.
Like what?
Got to be comfortable on the water, know basic boat safety,
Okay.
how to maneuver with fins. It's more than just casting.
Right. And wind must be a factor too.
Oh, yeah. Big time. You can get blown all over the place.
I can imagine.
You got to adjust your fishing spots. Maybe use a drogue to slow down.
A what?
A drogue, it's like a little anchor to keep you from drifting too fast.
Huh. Interesting.
Or just call it a day if it gets too rough.
So it adds some challenges.
It does, but for a lot of people, that's part of the fun.
It's that adventure aspect.
Exactly. You're not just standing on the bank anymore.
You're out there in the elements.
Becoming a more well-rounded angler.
And it's a workout too, right?
Oh, yeah, especially if you're covering a lot of water or fighting big fish.
No lazy river here.
Not exactly.
So it's not for everyone, but it sounds rewarding.
It is. You're putting in the work, but you're getting a unique perspective.
A deeper connection with the environment.
Right. It's
Yeah.
a more immersive experience.
I like that, immersive.
You're not just watching the water, you're in it.
Feeling it.
Exactly. The temperature changes, the
Mm.
currents, you become more aware of everything.
And I think that's what the store is all about.
I agree.
They're not just selling gear, they're selling that experience.
Yeah, it's like they're saying, hey, we get it. You're not just here to catch a fish. You want something more.
And more anglers are looking for that.
Definitely a more mindful way to fish.
Now understand the why, not just the what.
To appreciate the whole ecosystem.
It's that catch and release thing they talk about.
Yeah, it's not about taking, it's about respecting the fish and the water.
A more conservation-minded approach.
Exactly.
So we've got this store. They're passionate about still water. They've got the gear, the expertise,
The content.
the content, but where are they? Do they cater to a specific region?
Looks like they're focused on Utah,
Utah. Makes sense. Fly fishing heaven.
targeting those trout species you find in the lakes and reservoirs there.
Rainbow, cutthroat.
Brook, brown trout,
So they're really tailoring their stuff to a specific place.
which is smart. They can build a community that way.
Be-
And speaking of resources, let's check out that YouTube channel.
Stuff.
For sure.
You know, this whole deep dive has really changed my view on float tube fishing.
Really?
I used to think it was a gimmick,
Yeah.
but now I see it as a way to become a better angler, more versatile.
It's about a different mindset.
Yeah.
Being in tune with the water, the fish.
Not just casting a line, becoming part of it all.
Exactly.
And this store, they get it. They're like guides
Showing the way.
for anyone who wants to try this style of fishing,
They've figured it out, and they're sharing that knowledge.
making it accessible.
It's like they're inviting you to join them.
So anyone listening who's been curious about float tube fishing,
Yeah.
this store seems like the perfect place to start.
I'd agree with that.
I'm wondering, though, this whole thing about being closer to the environment, does it change how you feel about the fish you're trying to catch?
That's a good question. Something to think about.
When you're right there with them, feeling the same currents, seeing them up close,
Does it make you respect them more?
feel a sense of responsibility for them and the water.
It might.
Definitely something to ponder. All right, time to pack up our virtual waders.
It's not back to shore.
This deep dive has been amazing.
Glad you enjoyed it.
Float tube fishing is officially on my to-do list.
Awesome. I encourage you to try it. You might discover a whole new world out there.
Well, that's a wrap on our deep dive into the world of float tube fly fishing.
Hope you learned something.
We'll see you next time.
Tight lines, everyone.